Paul C. Metzler on Penfield Town Court, James Mulley Jr. on Penfield Town Court, and Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court. My name is Chris Chichester. I've never committed a crime. A prosecutor has never talked to court. That's a certification that I'm missing, man. How am I in jail when a prosecutor doesn't talk to court? That's because of you, Paul C. Metzler. That's because of you, Alex Renzi, and it's also because of retired John P. Menzel Jr., who releases accused child rapist Dane Bloss III in Penfield Town Court and doesn't recuse himself from the appearance of Dane Bloss III, even though he knows the family. I'm going to be contacting you, Paul C. Metzler, and you, James Mulley Jr. in Penfield Town Court, about the documentation you have in your files at that court about Dane Bloss III. I want to see that documentation. I'll write Freedom of Information Law about it. That's why I contacted you today, because I have the Freedom of Information Law that I sent to you today. Tomorrow you will sign for it. I'm telling you to sign for it. Don't refuse. This is your name right here, Paul C. Metzler. Paul C. Metzler, 1985 Bed Road, Penfield, New York. James Mulley Jr., 1985 Bed Road, Penfield, New York. You, Alex Renzi, your $200,000 salary, former employee of the District Attorney's Office, operating just like Paul C. Metzler and James Mulley Jr. 1, without a jury. 2, without a witness box for testimony. 3, without a table for a defense attorney. 4, without a table for a prosecutor. How do you possibly think you 3 exist in a courtroom? So, that's it. It's coming. Sign for it and comply with what I'm demanding the FOIL, which I'm going to tell you what it is right now, and you will refuse because you're corrupt. Was the defendants in Penfield Town Court before Paul C. Metzler? Was the defendants in Penfield Town Court for James Mulley Jr.? Was the defendants in New York State Supreme Court for Alex Renzi? Prosecutors never talked in court for me. So, the reason why I'm demanding this list is I'm going to send it to the Department of Justice, the United States Attorney for Western District of New York, Trinity Ross, and Governor Kathy Hochul. And I also want to contact the defendants about their experiences before you, Paul C. Metzler, you, James Mulley Jr., and you, Alex Renzi. James C. Mulley Jr., Jermaine L. Bennett. Do you know what I'm talking about? I go to this gym called PW Fitness. Up walks to me Jermaine L. Bennett. I'm on the bench press. He stands over me. He punches down. My head snaps back violently. Bennett walks away. Who did I just harass, James Mulley Jr.? A witness calls the Marlborough County Sheriff's Office. $79,000 Angel Reality arrives. He tells us to go out to the vehicle. As I'm standing next to the vehicle, before I get inside the vehicle, who do I harass, James Mulley Jr.? I get inside the vehicle. Who am I harassing inside the vehicle? Who have I harassed so far, James Mulley Jr.? Reality's talking to Benman outside the vehicles. I'm in the back seat of the vehicle after Benman snapped my head back violently. And then Jermaine Benman walks over to the side of the vehicle and he says, he said, I want to press charges against you. That's how I'm charged with harassment second, James Mulley Jr. Jermaine L. Benman appeared before you. And you let him walk right out the door because Jessica Wagner, the district attorney's office, negotiated a deal with you to let this violent thug and criminal go free. And I received a subpoena for Benman's appearance. I arrived there. I sit down. Your court employee immediately came to me and said, are you Christopher Chichester? I said, yes. She ordered me out of the courtroom. How do you explain yourself, James Mulley Jr.? I've said this to you in writing and on YouTube multiple times. You believe in violence. You endorse violence. You sanction violence, James Mulley Jr., in the person of Jermaine L. Benman. I write a Freedom of Information Law with all the documentation about Benman's appearance before you. And also, so I can confirm that it is Jessica Wagner, who is no longer employed at the District Attorney's Office. There's no employee named Jessica Wagner at the District Attorney's Office. From what I can tell, and I could be wrong, and I'm going to demand from Sandra Dorley, if Jessica Wagner, 1, is the prosecutor for Jermaine Benman, and 2, no longer employed in the District Attorney's Office, and is somehow connected to Benman, because I contacted her office. And I told Sandra Dorley about Jessica Wagner. Jessica Wagner is essentially functioning as the private attorney for this violent thug that you let go, James Mulley Jr. What do you think about what I'm saying to you? Can you function in your age? How old are you? Are you all past 70 like John P. Menzel Jr. too, like Paula C. Metzler, underneath that hideous wig that she wears? You got more hair than Paula C. Metzler, James Mulley Jr. So, you will refuse to comply with the law, and I want you to refuse. It's not like writing this information expecting you to comply. You don't comply, and then I'm shocked and astonished. I know you're not going to comply because you're corrupt. That's why. You know that every single defendant on that list is going to be guilty. You don't acquit anybody. You have to consider facts and circumstances. You have to possess morality and decency and ethics to acquit someone. And you also have to understand the Monroe County Sheriff's Office is corrupt. And you don't have any such ability to do any of these things because you're corrupt. So, I have been in relentless contact with Sheriff Todd Baxter. He will receive again tomorrow the Freedom of Information Law. Michael Radler, you're copied on this of the Sheriff's Office. The $0 employee, again, the corruption of Todd Baxter. You will have to explain yourself, Michael Radler. It's $0. When I say you have to explain yourself, you pay private money to work the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Todd Baxter, when he ran for election, when he came out of Greece in 2017, he had to raise money. And then those funds enabled him to defeat a 16-year incumbent who was ready to go in any number of ways. So, he has money, and a substantial amount of money. And I'm also going to investigate his fundraising. Where's his money come from? I don't know yet. I don't know any of his donors, how much money he has, but he certainly has money. Because that's why he's sheriff. You're not elected for free, without anything. Dollars drive elections. Michael Radler, you paid with those dollars. What's the answer? $0 on the payroll? You are such a joke, a buffoon. $0. Todd Thurston, what do you think about Michael Radler insisting it's $0? Are you friends with him at your Jonestown? I don't know you. I try to not insult someone I don't know, but since you work for a criminal organization, it's easy for me to do that, achieve that. And I'm copying you on everything, Todd Thurston. Do you want to answer the question, Todd Thurston? Is Sheriff Todd Baxter ethical and moral? Is your answer yes? Because if your answer is yes, you're in Jonestown. You don't know you're in Jonestown. So, Michael Radler, $0. What do you do with the Sheriff's Office for $0? Can you answer that question? If someone from the Democrat Chronicle or any radio television station asks you, what do you do with the Sheriff's Office? And do you go into the office? So, and one thing I'm demanding in these Freedom of Information Law documents, Michael Radler, because I've seen your picture. Let's say you're about 10 pounds overweight, but I don't know. I'm trying to do this from memory. If you're not overweight, then you're not. But the Monroe County Sheriff's Office is infested with the overweight employee, 20 pounds overweight, 30 pounds overweight, 40 pounds overweight. You know why, Michael Radler? Because this is what your employees buy in the wagons right here. Junk food. Do you know why employees are overweight, Michael Radler? Because this is what your employees are buying and eating. Wegmans, Target, elsewhere, junk food. This is a serious matter when a sworn officer of law is overweight to the extent that the Monroe County Sheriff's Office employees are overweight. Because they're placing their lives at risk and the lives of individuals they have to protect and they have to have the physical strength. That strength has to be in their body. This is what a joke you are at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office with your out-of-shape, overweight employees. So I'm going to contact you again tomorrow about that. Fact. In the Freedom of Information Law, what are the physical training standards at the Sheriff's Office? You have none. So, District Attorney Sandra Dorley in Penfield Town Court, when Paul C. Metzler and James B. Mulley Jr. refused to comply with the list of defendants. You should use that fact upon these two, the $28,000 Paul C. Metzler and $34,000 James B. Mulley Jr. redirect defendants away from Penfield Town Court. Do it. Achieve it. So defendants can receive a fair hearing. The reason why you won't do it is you love the fact that there's no jury of 12. There's no witness box for witness testimony. There's no table for a defense attorney. There's no table for a prosecutor. This room is an abomination, a star chamber, a joke. They violate civil and constitutional rights of citizens. Every time someone is in there as a defendant, all they know how to do is pronounce guilt, and they love to pronounce guilt. They love to destroy lives. Paul C. Metzler and James B. Mulley Jr., you District Attorney Sandra Dorley, allow them to do it. Perry Duckles, Deputy District Attorney. Have you been in this room at any point in your career? What's the answer? I'm going to contact you directly, even though I already have, about a series of questions regarding your career, your time at the District Attorney's Office, and Penfield Town Court. I do not know if you can redirect defendants away from this abomination, this star chamber at 1985 Bed Road. I do not know if you can do it. I believe you can, because you can just tell a defendant to go to a different courtroom. And how's that illegal or unconstitutional? Because it's the New York State Constitution and the United States Constitution. And I do not believe that a citizen in Penfield, New York, with 36,000, if they're just redirected to another court, perhaps New York State Supreme Court, like Alex Renzi, or any other court outside of Penfield, how is that possibly unconstitutional for a citizen that lives in Penfield to just appear in another jurisdiction? I don't know. The court decisions, especially at the Supreme Court and the appellate, the Court of Appeals in Albany, are weird and wacky, and you never know what you can get and expect from these court decisions. So the reason why I'm telling you to redirect defendants away from Penfield Town Court is these citizens don't have civil and constitutional rights. They're going to go to jail. What would you, Michael Ryder, think if you had a family member or friend that had to go into Penfield Town Court? You know what's going to happen to that family member or friend? That family member or friend's going to have a criminal record. Without a prosecutor talking in court, without a jury verdict, and without any evidence that there's a crime. And there are real criminals in there, such as Daniel Glass III, the accused child rapist in Penfield. So, Paul C. Metzler, James Mulley Jr., and Alex Renzi, I'll also demand your personal financial disclosure, which I haven't written those freedom of information laws. And I'm going to tell you what you're going to do. You'll refuse to comply. I want to see if you have a conflict of interest with your money, with your cash. Where's your money? I'm going to do the same thing with Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Dorley, and I'm going to put those documents online. I'll put your first personal financial disclosure online. I'll buy a domain name and put that online, and I'll send it to the Democrat Chronicle and radio and television stations, the United States Department of Justice, the control of the state of New York. If you have conflicts of interest, Paul C. Metzler, James Mulley Jr., and Alex Renzi, given your status as a judge in Monroe County in New York State Supreme Court and Penfield Town Court. What you're thinking when I ask these questions is I should be arrested because you're corrupt. That's why. So, this is the warrant for my arrest, where I took each sentence and responded to each sentence. Sheriff Todd Baxter, 5 Shannon Meyer, I'm not going to repeat myself about her. A warrant for my arrest for walk through a parking lot I've walked through 4,000 times. It's a lunatic fringe. I go into Penfield Town Court for John P. Metzler Jr., charged with criminal attempt second, just for telling Steve Desmond, Brock Oldtree, and Longcare, nobody owns the land next to my residence. That's not a crime. And I'm on video too. So this is here. This is the document that you can use to fire Shannon Meyer. You won't because of the blue wall silence. And I have not yet been able to determine, James Mulley Jr., Paul C. Metzler, and Alex Renzi, how a judge is removed from a court in New York State. I believe it is an act of the state legislature. I could be wrong. I do not know. I do not know how a judge is removed from any court in the state of New York. But there is provisions under the state constitution to have this happen. The state legislature can do it, can achieve it. But I don't know if it can be done in other means, in other ways. You can be forced to resign just by being humiliated, which is what I'm trying to do to you. I'm trying to humiliate you into a resignation. That's my goal. And have you figured that out? Because when you receive the Freedom of Information Law tomorrow, and I'm going to repeat this for you because corruption requires repetition. List of defendants in Penfield Town Court from Paul C. Metzler. Is everybody guilty, Paul C. Metzler? A list of defendants in Penfield Town Court for James Mulley Jr. Is everybody guilty, James Mulley Jr.? A list of defendants in the New York State Supreme Court for Alex Renzi. Is everybody guilty, Alex Renzi? I believe the answer is yes, but the only way I'm going to have absolute confirmation of it is if I require a list of defendants. The fact that I cannot receive a list of defendants in a public proceeding that is a courtroom is disgraceful. If I was to contact the United States Supreme Court and said, I would like a list of every case and every defendant, if they're called defendants in the United States Supreme Court, which I used to walk by on my way to work, and I sent to court either a Freedom of Information Law or the instrument that compels the United States Supreme Court to send me a list of cases and defendants to the court. I don't know how long it takes, but I would receive it. There's no doubt about it that I would get this information. And I would also get this information from the Court of Appeals in Albany. But I won't get it from Penfield Town Court in Monroe County. I won't get it from New York State Supreme Court with Alex Renzi because you're corrupt. Do you understand, Paul C. Metzler, that you are corrupt? Do you understand, James Mulley Jr., that you're corrupt? Do you understand, Alex Renzi, that you're corrupt? The answer is no, no, and no, you don't. Lyndon Johnson didn't know he was corrupt. Corruption does not know it's corrupt. It is only the rare public official that is corrupt, recognizes it, and acts accordingly, such as Eliot Spitzer. Spitzer knew he was corrupt, and that's one of the reasons why Klein and I resigned. You do not know you're corrupt. You will never know you're corrupt, even though I'm telling you, giving you facts and circumstances for why I'm corrupt. Paul C. Metzler, I walk into the Penfield Public Library. I don't know I'm supposed to be in front of you as one person. I sit down at the computer at the Penfield Public Library. In walks Siemens. Did you have any contact with Siemens prior to what he's going to do to me? He sees me sitting at the computer. Siemens runs at me, extends his left arm, slams it into the right side of my face. I fell backwards and my head slammed against ceramic tile. I'm violently attacked in Penfield Public Library because of you, Paul C. Metzler, because you, as one $28,000 widow, want to deliver me to jail, and it's going to be Livingston County Jail. I'm violently attacked at Penfield Public Library because then he took me down to Penfield Town Court where I was disoriented, but I still remember the appearance. My head slammed down onto the ceramic tile with such ferocity that my ears were buzzing when I was before you in Penfield Town Court, where there is no prosecutor. Oh, no, there is no prosecutor. And then I meet my public defender. When I'm in that little room next to your court, when she comes up to me and says, I'm your public defender, I say to her, get the hell away from me. My public defender knows I'm supposed to be in Penfield Town Court before your skinhead, Paul C. Metzler, but I don't. How's that explained? I'm going to write to you about this, Paul C. Metzler. You contact the public defender's office. Tell them to appear in Penfield Town Court. I'm violently attacked, and I meet my public defender 60 seconds before I'm going to appear before you, and you've already predetermined that I'm guilty when I'm an innocent man, and then I'm driven to Livingston County Jail, and then you're holding me in Livingston County Jail. How's that constitutional? Because I would go to the kiosk day after day, night after night, type my name in, and I'm asking the employees how long I'm going to be here. How long am I going to be here? Over and over, I'm repeating that same question. And when Regina Harper, the public defender's office, came to see me, this is when she told me, quote, the judge is holding me, like, quote. How is this possibly allowed to happen to any citizen? The judge is holding you. And Regina Harper won my release. Because you, as Paul C. Metzler, decided to smash my civil and constitutional rights into a million little pieces. So, Michael Radler, are you going to refuse again? Because it's coming. The new Freedom of Information Law, this is a different pile. This is coming tomorrow, and it came today too. It's going to be relentless. We're going to do to you with the United States Postal Service. Paul Menson, don't do this. This is refused. It says refused by Sheriff Todd Baxter. This is coming. Sign for it, and send me a list of defendants in Penfield Town Court, and you will refuse. How do you think you can explain any of your abject and sickening obsession with refusing to send me a list of defendants? I have sent this to you 15 plus times over the last 18 months. And it could be more than 30 times. I do not know, but I know it's more than 15 times. Because at one point I was on YouTube where I held up a copy of the Freedom of Information Law where I kept saying, send me a list of defendants in Penfield Town Court. I was turning over page after page of what you just got again. Registered mail, return receipt. With those documents, I was only emailing them and putting them in regular mail. Where you could send an email, you would block me and you didn't receive it on email, or you could say that mail never arrived. This is going to arrive. You can't lie about an email saying you didn't receive it from me. You can't lie about regular mail where you can just say we never received it. This you will sign for. For a list of defendants in Penfield Town Court, and you will refuse. I'm trying to remove you each from office. Where's your money? Paul C. Metzler, how much are you worth? Where's your money, James Mulley Jr.? How much are you worth? Where's your money, Alex Renzi? How much are you worth? You have conflicts of interest given the cases that are in your respective courts. I don't know. And there is a Commission on Judicial Conduct in the state of New York. I believe it is in Albany. And I will contact the Commission on Judicial Conduct. And I'll also contact the Appellate Division of State Supreme Court about Penfield Town Court and this Supreme Court at 99 Exchange Boulevard in Rochester. I will detail to the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct exactly what you've done to me and how you've been sitting in that room, James Mulley Jr., Paul C. Metzler, and Alex Renzi, all by yourself, destroying my life. My name is Christopher Chichester. I have never committed a crime.